Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be about a video that I had previously done a collab on and tried out and reviewed on my channel. Well, we've got some pretty groundbreaking news in a big IP type launch immediately shutting down operations. This game just released a couple months ago, and it is part of a big IP, the Magic universe. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about my previous takes on this game and then have a discussion about maybe why this happened and talk about gaming in general. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, before we get into the discussion about this article and this news coming down on a big game launching and just shutting down immediately, I do want to give you some context on what my take was about this game back in the day when I tried it out. I would say my first impressions would be that it's probably not going to have the staying power to be a big time game for years. I think it'll get flashes of hype like based around the beta, and then maybe when it hits live it'll get another push of hype. Personally, I don't see it having a whole lot of staying power, if I'm just being brutally honest. Okay, so this is one of those times that you end up being right, but it's not something to brag about or be happy about, because obviously anytime something like this happens where a project gets shut down or canceled and stuff, there are good people who put a lot of work into it, and there's going to be people losing jobs and stuff like that. So it's not a good situation. I'm not happy about being right on this, but I do have to be honest about my opinion on my YouTube channel. And I'm not going to lie and say I expected it to get shut down. I am surprised that it's going to be closing this soon. That's definitely something I did not expect. But unfortunately, I did not think it was going to be successful just based off of my initial testing of the game. But let's get you some context on this article here from PC Gamer that says Magic Legends is closing down permanently in October, so it's not even going to make it close to 1 year. And players who spent money on the multiplayer action RPG will receive a full refund, as developer says. So at least that's good. They're really going to take it serious in terms of a project they are abandoning. They're going to go ahead and do some refunding there for players that spent money on it, because obviously that's not really fair. You launch a game, players are spending money, they think they're going to have this account available to them for the long haul, and they're willing to invest in it, and then boom, it gets shut down in a few months. Obviously, the right thing to do, the moral thing to do, is go ahead and help these players refund their money. But then it goes on to say, after a tumultuous and largely disappointing open beta, action RPG Magic Legends will be shutting down permanently on October 31st, 2021. In an announcement posted on the game's official Twitter account, executive producer Steve Ricosa said that Magic the Gathering RPG missed the mark, and its planned Steam and console versions are now canceled. Players who spent money on Magic Legends microtransactions will be receiving a full refund. That's going to be great news for Darth Microtransaction, by the way. Whether they paid through the Epic Game Store or the Arc launcher. That's another side rant. These games with their launchers and their stores and their Steam and their other standalone and their mobile, and like, we need to like figure out a way to get this stuff streamlined and be a lot easier for players. Players are getting to the point where you've got 8, 10, 12 different launchers on your PC. We need a way to really streamline this type of stuff and make it a lot easier and make these platforms a lot better. But anyway, it goes on to say, our vision for Magic Legends missed the mark, Ricosa wrote, but we are proud of what we achieved. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast, we got to bring the expansive Magic the Gathering multiverse to a wide audience and explore new angles within the established ARPG genre. And that is true. I'm not someone who's part of the Magic the Gathering community. I have watched different things on it from afar, and I do think it's a very cool community and it's a very interesting game. It's just not something that I am very knowledgeable on, and it did bring me to that universe to try this game out, so that's definitely true. But then it goes on to say, it's always sad to see a live service game shutting its doors for good, but I'm not sure how many players will be upset or surprised about the end of Legends. Right from the launch, Magic Legends was criticized for its heavy-handed microtransactions, poor performance, production quality, and design. Then just one more small paragraph here. Sean Day9 Plot, who is someone I'm very familiar with. I've gotten to meet before at MLG, had a beer with him once after an MLG back in 2011. So he is an OG gamer from the StarCraft community, and I know he's very knowledgeable about the Magic the Gathering game genre in general. So yeah, major face of the Magic scene, was particularly critical of Magic the Legends approach to the ARPG genre when the beta launched. It's not that the game lacks interesting decisions, it lacks decisions at all. I hit my buttons on cooldown. I do not manage mana. There was no point in the first 3 hours that I managed mana, period. I really think that the current implementation of the deck and how that works in combat feels like an anti-system. It feels like it hurts gameplay rather than creating something new and cool and fun. Despite some patches and updates, it seems like developer Cryptic Studios was never able to turn things around. Players will have until October 31st, 2021 to continue playing, but the cash shop is being stripped out immediately, and those premium items will instead become available for purchase with the in-game currency. So, all right, let's put that away and have a little discussion here about that. First of all, in my opinion, this game did not end up failing because of the aesthetics or the UI or anything like that. As you can see right here in the footage I'm displaying while we're talking, the game looks good enough. Is it groundbreaking? Is it Skyrim back in 2011 or something? Like, no, it's not, but it looks fine. Like the graphics and the UI and the aesthetic in general were not the problem here, in my opinion. These games need to make it a lot easier to be social, to group up, to play together. It's an RPG. You've got games like Path of Exile and Diablo 3 where you can literally just create a character, you group up, boom, you create a party and you progress together and you play and you have fun. You share items, you share an experience, and it's an enjoyable time, and that's why these games grab people and have long-term success. Some of these games that are coming out, I don't know why they don't prioritize that. I don't know why they don't just make it super easy to quest together and share items and work together and progress and get hooked on the game. You really need that social aspect, especially for an RPG like this where you're like dungeon crawling or killing a bunch of mobs or building up classes. You need that social interaction. Now, some people really enjoy the solo experience and just want to play solo, but largely your community is going to flourish by people playing the game together. And then also Day9 talked about how he didn't feel like there was any sort of skill. He's just spamming buttons on cooldown, just running through and hitting stuff. You're really not making any decisions or having to manage anything. You're just becoming a button spammer. And I actually think there's a new game that I did a review on a little bit ago where Marvel Future Revolutions. And I think Marvel, I'm not a huge fan of that game. Personally, I think it's got potential to be good. But if you want to watch that video, I'll try to remember to link to that over there on that new Marvel game that's coming out if you want my full opinion on that. But anyway, one thing that game did get right is the combat management system. So I think we're going to see a shift in gaming in general where like the source of theory crafting and fun from the gamer is going to be very macro oriented. So it's going to be the player designing the build and managing the account and setting up how they're going to farm and setting up their clan and who they're going to team up with. And then the actual gameplay itself, the grindy part of it, is going to be mostly automatic, where you set up your rotation, you set up how you want things to function, and then you play it on auto. But the game needs to throw in tough content that you're going to be encouraged to manual. And I think that new Marvel game got that right. The grindy, monotonous stuff, you just have a full auto function. But then for like boss fights and the crazy stuff, you can take over and play manually. Also, on my channel, I cover a game called Raid Shadow Legends. They do a pretty good job of this as well. It's mostly about account management and grinding on auto, but then you've got your arena and your really hard Doom Tower boss fights or levels where you need to manual stuff. So it's like 95 to 99% auto with throwing in some of those manual situations where you need to take over, but it's mostly about account management. Which brings me to, in the case of this game, the Magic Legends, I don't know if that was a problem, but when you couple it with the fact that, because I don't think people mind just like kind of slaying mobs, just being lazy and gaming it up. But the problem is there's no auto feature to help you with that, and there was no opportunity where you could kind of feel the power of, okay, now I'm going to take over, I'm going to manual, and it didn't feel good to spend money. Like, these games really missed the mark on getting you to feel like you're really getting an impact. You're getting a lasting effect of your account for spending money. And admittedly, it's a very tough line to walk, because you don't want to make a game straight pay to win and alienate your free-to-play and low spenders and make them feel like they're wasting your time, because you can't have a game that is only whales. There needs to be a symbiotic relationship between your free-to-play and low spenders and your whales, where they both feel like they have a place in the community. And this game just, unfortunately, didn't really hit that mark. It was another one. I said the same thing about that new Marvel game. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a lasting impact to spend money when I pick up the game. Like, when I pick up a game, I don't mind spending 20 or 30 bucks to support the developer on a game I'm going to try out for a while, but you don't feel like you're getting any sort of satisfaction out of spending that money. You just feel like you wasted it, and then you're like, okay, like, what now? So, Raid did a good job of making me feel like I am getting something for my money. I'm getting shards. I'm getting the opportunity to really impact my account permanently, and the excitement of pulling shards. Like, it felt good as a new player to spend money on Raid. So these games need to get that first 10 to 20 hours right, because that's what's really going to keep beginners as an influx coming into the community and give it that sustained life to propel and have long-term success. And this game, unfortunately, it didn't have it, and it's going to be shutting down soon. But I like to upload random videos every week or two where we just have discussions like this about things going on in the gaming universe, and give a perspective on an article coming out or some news coming out in the gaming industry. I thought this would be a fun one, because it is a game I had done a collab on and covered before, and then we got to see how it ended up shaping out over the next few months, and ended up canceling here this October. So an unfortunate end to the Magic the Legends ARPG game that was being released, but we've got a lot of new things coming here towards the end of 2021, so hopefully there's going to be some opportunities for games to really hit the ground running and be huge successes. But that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.